Zero Hour is a relatively unknown tactical shooter developed by M7 Productions and Atredo with a pretty underwhelming release on the Steam Early Access. At the time of recording, there's a total of 90 players currently online, and it absolutely deserves to have more. With a Steam rating review of overwhelmingly positive, Zero Hour absolutely is a hidden gem. Inspired by the SWAT series and Rainbow Six, Zero Hour introduces a level of realism that's missing from most tactical shooters on the market. Combine this with a simplistic approach and awesome team play, it makes for a game that anybody can pick up, but few can master. Team play is by far Zero Hour's most prominent strength. This is not a run and gun game. If you're like me, and you have fond memories of picking up SWAT 4 after years of playing the Call of Duty franchise and getting absolutely smacked into orbit, then this game will take you right back into your childhood. The game is best played with a group of friends and really shines in co-op mode. A typical co-op match has a few phases. The first phase is planning. The weapons and equipment each player brings to the fight will play a real role in how the level plays out, and whether you succeed or fail. The team can then access a map, allowing each individual player to draw on it as they give their input. The second phase is execution. Players have to quickly adapt their plans to new scenarios as the AI tries to outflank and push back on you while you roll through the level. This creates unique challenges and truly tests a player's ability to keep his team safe. Oftentimes, an entire match is lost because one player didn't cover his buddy's rear. Now, this all may sound pretty challenging, and it is, but the challenge makes it all the more rewarding when you and your friends finally achieve a flawless run, or even just a passing run. Each level becomes a puzzle of trial and error, planning, spawning in, messing up, and having to go back to the drawing board to brainstorm a better way to conquer the level. The gameplay is asymmetric, with players often being outnumbered by enemy AI that actively tries to locate you and outflank you on their home turf. It forces players to think on their feet, plan out their moves carefully, and move methodically as a team. This is all delivered with a level of simplicity that makes the game easy for a beginner to pick up. Players only have the choice of a few weapons: a riot shield, a suppressed M4, an AK, and an MP5 to name about half of them. Equipment is also limited to only a flashbang, frag grenade, night vision, and a doorstop. This makes the learning curve a lot less intimidating for new players, while still retaining enough complexity to keep each game different and dynamic. The learning curve doesn't lay in twitch reflexes, gameplay mechanics, or even map familiarity. It instead lies entirely in how well the player can work in a team. This game may be as wide as a puddle, but it's as deep as a lake, and it shines for it. This simplicity is complemented very well with some good old-fashioned RNG. The level design is semi-dynamic, with enemies, hostages, and objectives spawning in random locations throughout the level. Other randomized bits of level design include tripwires, cameras, and doorstops. Tripwires are easy to miss and can spell instant death for an entire team. This forces the player to practice situational awareness and move in a calculated way. Cameras spawn randomly on ceilings and walls, giving the AI a better idea of where you're going. Power boxes can be switched on and off by the player, cutting the lights and giving the player an advantage by making the AI less accurate and observant, and by cutting power to their cameras. Doorstops are randomly placed under doors, forcing the player to kick them in to gain entry to a room. This simple lineup, combined with a multi-storied level design with realistic rooms and geometry, makes for tons of replayability and tense gameplay. Zero Hour wraps all of this together in a nice, neat little bow of immersion. The graphics are simplistic, but nice enough to keep you grounded in the game. The sound design adds tension. Gunfire echoes off of the walls. You can hear the enemies stomping upstairs and yelling frantically as they try to find you or take cover before you can come up. You hear hostages' muffled screams through duct tape. I have never played a game that has made me feel more genuinely afraid to round a corner just to find a bad guy with a gun. Now, I can't discuss everything about the game without talking about its weaknesses. As I mentioned before, it's an early access release. It receives pretty regular updates, but it can be a little buggy, and the netcode could certainly be better. PvP has a ton of potential, but with the current netcode issues, not enough player base, and players not wanting to cooperate with each other, it's not where it needs to be. But if you have a good group of friends that enjoy tactical shooters, this game is for you. At only $12 on Steam, I'd say that any fan of tactical shooters needs to play the game. It's a hidden gem, it doesn't cost much, it deserves a bigger audience. Too much love went into its development for it to fall into obscurity. But anyway, here's some Zero Hour.